Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cat Talk here on GreenCountyHeraldOnline.com. I'm Russell Turner. This is my good friend Nick Chatham, the AD here at Greene County High School and baseball coach, of course. Glad to be back for another episode, but there's kind of a cloud hanging over us this week, Nick.
Yeah, we've been honoring Miss Coach Vanessa Powe this week. It's been kind of a somber week here at the school. Just knowing we lost one of our family members. She was just a bundle of joy to be around, and just wanted to start off the episode, sharing how much she meant to us, and let her family know we're praying for them. Wanted to share her arrangements with everybody that's watching. Her visitation will be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow at McDonald & Sons Funeral Home in Waynesboro, and then Friday will be her funeral, September 23rd at Mount Moriah Church in State Line, Mississippi, and that will be at 12 o'clock, and there will be an additional viewing starting at 11 and going to 12 before the funeral. So,
and I know a lot of people will be interested, in that, and I feel so badly for her family because she was, still in the prime of life. But, here at the high school, we had all just really gotten to know what a special person she was, and gotten to know her, and it was just. It's been tough for the kids and the staff.
She was steady. I mean, she was herself every single day. She was, never came in a bad mood. Was always the same. And that says a lot about a person to me that they can stay even keel like that. And you could tell in the first weeks of school that she just wasn't feeling herself.
Right. It's a tough situation anytime something like that happens, but we certainly are going to remember her fondly and lift her up and her family up at this time.
And remember the girls, that she coached. It's tough on a teenager to lose anybody, especially a coach like that they love and respect so much. So remember them as well. It's a tough time, and they need support, not just now, but in the future as well.
Yeah. Well, there are some other things going on here at the high school, obviously. We're still in the midst of volleyball and football, and we got some non-Greene County High School stuff to talk about this week with our anglers. Philip and Calup, did they fish for the high school as a team?
They do, but they don't fish under the umbrella of MHSAA.
Right.
So, but they do represent our school. It is the Greene County Bass Fishing Team. So.
Fantastic. Well, they're doing a good job, and we want to talk about some things that they've done recently that are real exciting for them and just kind of interesting as well. Had another big 6A school in here on Friday night. Wildcats took one on the chin again. Things just kind of fell off the rails early. Personally, I'm kind of excited about the way they battled back, but got one more week to warm up and kind of straighten things out, and then you jump into region play.
I'll tell you, their preseason schedule has been brutal. It really has, and it's tough. It's tough to fight through the brutality of that and play in those bigger schools, but I keep telling people division is coming, and when division comes, I think we're going to be okay.
Well, and I think, it's kind of actually a very tough year this year. It's tough any year when you play 2 5As and 2 6As to start out, but with the youth of our team this year, I think that made it a little bit, more difficult. But when I'm around the kids, they still seem to be, for the most part, most of them pretty well focused on moving forward. And a lot of bright spots, I thought, from watching the film. I was not here Friday night, but I did get to watch Perry Central play, and they're coming in here Friday night, and I think that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Speaking of you not being here, signed a contract with NFHS Network this week, so in the next, I would say month at the most, you should be able to watch Greene County sporting events online when you're not able to attend. So
and that's a good opportunity too for the school to make a few dollars off of that, because you do get some of that revenue, and you know as well as I do that I haven't been the biggest fan of those particular situations in the past, but I do think this will be a good one for the fans and the school itself.
Yep.
So.
And back to Perry Central.
Well, no, I was just going to say I think it's going to make for a pretty good matchup. They do the kind of things that we've struggled with a little bit this year, and for the first time all season, we get to be the big brother, in the situation. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as both schools get ready to get into region play, and it's also kind of a neat little budding rivalry. I think at one point in time years back it wasn't the best rivalry But now I think it's a good one, and both schools could benefit from it.
Yeah, I think so. And Perry Central, they're athletic. They're going to
Absolutely.
be that every single year, and they're going to be a good football team. It's going to be a fight for us for sure. We're still dealing with some injuries. I don't know Keenan's status this week. I see him still limping around the hall a little bit, so I don't know where he stands. But we're going to go.
Yeah, and I don't either. I haven't talked to Coach King about that in the last day or two. But from my perspective, if he's questionable this week, you keep him out. But the coaches obviously know more about it than I do, and so it'd be nice to see how that plays out. I do want to mention some of the kids that stepped up on Friday night. I think KJ had some huge runs. Those were some of the prettiest runs I've seen.
He was player of the week in one venue. I don't know the exact outlet, but
he had a big game. The touchdown runs that he had were phenomenal. He broke 4 or 5 tackles on each of them. And some of the freshmen really stepped up. Spivery had the interception in the end zone. Joshua McCann had a big night at linebacker.
Boy, they're high on him. They really like the energy that he plays with.
Right. And so, some of those young guys they're not babies anymore. They've got half a season under their belt. Joshua does not. I think most of his time's been on JV until this past week. But, they're coming on, so it's going to be interesting to watch. Tell me about volleyball. I know that you keeping up with it.
Volleyball they won last night against Forest County, I believe it was. And
I know they had a straight set win.
Yeah, so. And they're sitting at 5-1 in division. So that's where you want to be. I mean, that's what matters. And they were in the same boat football. They played a tough schedule early on. We've talked about that.
Right.
And now that they've hit division, they're hitting their stride, and they're beating those teams. So it's exciting for the girls and the coaches.
Right. Summerall comes in here, right, Thursday?
No, we're on the road
Thursday.
Thursday.
Summerall. Purvis comes in next week.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get the date of that one and share it with you later, because that's one that's going to be very, very interesting to come watch. But a lot going on. Like I said, a little somber out here as we explained, but we do have some interesting things to talk about. We'll be back with our anglers here in a minute. Stay with us. The mission of Greene County Farm Bureau is to provide you with unmatched customer service and attention. If you're looking for home, auto, or life insurance, you should definitely give Jared Lott or Tyler Bray a call to learn more about the full line of insurance and financial services they have available. It's easy to find out if you're getting the type of coverage you need at the best possible rates. Just drop by and see Jared or Tyler at 812 Main Street in Leakesville, or give them a call at 601-394-2801.
All right, welcome back to Cat Talk, folks. As we told you earlier, we're joined by two of our bass fishing team members here, Mr. Calup Williams and Mr. Phillip Herring. They went this past weekend to the Bassmasters High School Combine. That's correct. That was in Huntsville, Decatur. In Decatur. They went and competed in that, and they represented us very well. So, Caleb, I'll let you start. Kind of tell us what the combine was like.
Well, it was just a bunch of booths where a bunch of colleges was just putting their college out there, and they was looking at all the kids to see, and the kids pick their top 5 colleges that they want to talk with or maybe get a chance to go to, and you really got to sit down and talk with college coaches and stuff about their college team and just tuition and their college in general, pretty much.
Good. Well, that is interesting, because I'm trying to wrap my head around how you recruit as a collegiate bass fishing coach, and that's kind of interesting that they phrased it as a combine, but that's exactly what it was. It was a skills event more than a bass tournament, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Did y'all fish at all?
No, sir. No fishing.
Well, Lake Wheeler's a pretty nice place to fish. But talk to me about that. I've got the story in the paper this week, and I read a little bit about how that worked. But you had, was it 3 categories, 3 main? It was a technicality,
A technical challenge, casting accuracy, and casting distance.
and some kid chunked a lure 65 yards.
They did.
Isn't that amazing?
Now explain to us those 3 categories, Phil.
All right, the casting accuracy, you were standing on the platform, and there was 5 5-gallon buckets out there, and you had to throw it in all 5 buckets in the least amount of time. And in technical challenge, you got in a boat and trolled around a buoy, and there was 3 rings set up in the water, and you had to go around the buoy and throw it in the 3 rings in the shortest amount of time. And then the casting distance was just throw it as far as you can.
Huh. Sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Well, and I was reading Phil's comments on that, basically, was this a pretty nice bass boat, by the
Oh,
way?
yeah.
This
So-
is the $90,000 bass
So
boat.
Phil jumps in a $100,000, both of y'all get in a $100,000 bass boat, and what did you say? You just put the hammer down on the trolling
Wide
motor?
open.
Wide open. So,
Well, talk to us guys about, we've only had a bass fishing team for a few years now. How did y'all get into this?
Pretty much just me and Philip, we fished every week, Monday night tournaments and stuff. And we finally talked Mr. Martin into letting us get together and build a fishing team. And I mean, we try to get a bunch more kids involved in it, but it's a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. I mean, mamas and daddies, they fork out a lot of money for me and him both to go and do the things we love. But I mean, now we're at the point in time where now we're having to decide what college we want to go to. And
That's awesome. I've always talked with Phil's dad, Martin, who has kind of taken the team and coached them. But, he's always talked about the opportunity for scholarships in this, and now you are getting to reap those benefits. I just want to settle this once for all. We've talked about this at baseball extensively, but who carries who in these bass fishing tournaments?
I mean, it's really a team effort. Sometimes, some tournaments, I'm not catching them and he is. Some tournaments, he's not catching them, I am, and some we both catch them. It's really,
What a great
that's
asset.
why we're winning as many tournaments as we do, because
now, y'all finished 7th nationally in a tournament, what, 2 years ago or last year?
that was our 8th grade year. That was,
Okay,
that
so
was
been
the
a few years back.
junior high national championship, yes, sir.
And now, Phil, I know your little brother fishes at the lower level. Does your brother fish too, Caleb? Who's Eli's partner?
Hunter Lee.
Okay.
They both go to Sandhill. They're both in the 8th grade, and they're going to be good too whenever they're getting their feet wet in it. So
Well, y'all get to fish a lot of different water, and I was reading some of the comments from kids from different parts of the area. Some of them were more river fishing, some of them were more, dead river lake type deals, and then some of them were the big rock bottom lakes. What is y'all's favorite lakes to fish in? You like the deep water? You like the
shallow
Shallow water.
creeks and rivers,
yeah, like the creeks and rivers around here. That's our favorite way to.
muddy water. Don't give me no clear water.
No.
Well, it's amazing to me to watch how the sport has grown. I can remember riding with my son Jackson down the road, and a SEC, it was actually Florida, I believe, truck came by pulling a bass boat. I mean, it was dressed out to the nines in Florida stuff. And now I think every major college, certainly every Southeastern Conference school has a fishing team. What are some of the schools that y'all are interested in?
LSU Shreveport. I think me and him were both interested in that one. Blue Mountain College up in North Mississippi. They both offered us to come there.
We got Troy,
Troy University up there both offered.
University of North Alabama, and we
University.
talked to Auburn a little bit too, but there's a lot of money involved in that college. A lot.
Are they pretty good scholarships? I mean,
Yeah.
so good deal.
Well, they're not full. They're not full tuition, but we might can get a little help with academic scholarships.
And it covers your fishing
Right,
expenses
exactly.
while you're there.
Yeah, when you go across the country fishing, gas is expensive.
Yeah, you get to tell your philosophy professor that I've got an excuse because I was fishing on
exactly.
weekends. So
Right.
It is, and speaking of that, our bass fishing team is pretty much funded by the kids and their parents. So
yeah.
if you ever want to contribute to that, just get in touch with us, and we'll help you do that for sure.
all right, good. I said I wasn't going to do this to y'all, but I do. Well, first off, we didn't even recognize you finished very well in the tournament. 100 kids, is that right?
Yes, sir.
100 kids from all over the country, and Big Phil actually ended up with the most points. Won the point title, and I think you got the technical.
Yeah, I
Challenge
won
too.
the technical challenge too. Yes, sir.
Good deal. That's just very impressive to me. But talk to us a little bit about. Tell us how to catch more fish. That's what I want to know. I'm tired of getting whipped in the boat. So
You gotta fish more. You gotta learn it.
Right.
You gotta just go fishing.
Well, let me ask you this. We've got Coach Bray in the audience watching today. How do you think he would do in one of these fishing tournaments?
You got it. You got it. Thank you, Phil.
You think so?
that's another good answer. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm very proud of y'all. It's just one more thing, and I know that you guys and your parents, were the spearhead behind this thing. But it's just one more opportunity for kids to get involved doing some things. And you're right, it is expensive. Traveling, gas, $100,000 boats, And even the rods and reels these days
Sure,
are
yeah.
getting kind of crazy. Did you win any of that kind of stuff while y'all were at this thing? Did you win any
Well,
rounds?
each kid when they come in the door, they got a table and you get a bunch of door prizes. You grab everything on the table,
Yeah.
and they
man.
give you a free rod.
Okay.
And I won, I went 2 or 3.
Philip got 3 blank rods and then a rod and reel combo.
For winning
So
the overall points thing, so.
Russell, they can't even keep up with it. The
I
number
know,
of
yeah,
scholarship
we-
offers
yeah.
and rods and reels they won, my goodness.
Now, are y'all just hard set, or y'all jig guys, or you just whatever the water's telling you?
Whatever the
whatever the
night.
conditions is.
And I know y'all talked a lot about flipping,
Mhm.
so that helps you out a
Yeah,
good bit.
for sure.
Having
For sure.
that skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're also hoping they both do a lot of bat flipping this spring in
Yeah,
baseball.
yeah,
So
yeah, that-
both these guys played baseball.
I'm
as well.
just waiting on the professional cane pole league. I think that's somewhere I could be pretty decent at,
I think
I think it's
you
time to
do
wrap
better
it
in the
up.
crappie league, crappie
Oh,
fishing.
yeah, what my daddy always says, there ain't nothing crappy about white perch fishing, but that's just,
Yeah.
for another day. But anyway, I'm proud of you guys, I think it's great what y'all are doing, and I hope that more kids follow suit, and maybe in the future, we can figure out some way to, for the high school, I don't know how the high school would afford, a boat like that, but, to grow that sport for you guys.
Well, to start off, you don't have to have a expensive, you can get started with a very lower end boat, and just to get your feet wet in it and see how you like it.
Well, I guess that's with any sport,
Yeah,
as you progress,
exactly.
the equipment gets better, and,
Right.
but I hate that you didn't get to fish on Lake Wheeler, because it's a really nice, it's a river lake, and,
Yeah, it is.
it's got a lot of different structure in it, and the Decatur area is, real nice area, it's just a long stinking way from Greene County, so, I know that was a long trip, but, it was very rewarding.
Yeah,
sure
we
will.
appreciate you boys representing us, and we're proud of you. And
Yes, sir.
you got sports started, and hopefully it continues on
Yeah.
for years.
Anything y'all want to share with the folks before we get out of here?
No, sir.
We appreciate y'all being on,
Yes, sir.
we'll be back in a few minutes, thank y'all.
Here's a scenario. Work has sent you cross-country. You drive 2,000 miles, eat something that resembles food, and seal the deal with a room full of strangers. Now you have a big old check, which means you hold in your hands the future of your company. But wait, you have the Singing River Federal app, which means you and thousands of others like you can bank wherever you are. So no more worries, except for whatever you ate. Singing River Federal, the better way to bank, wherever you are.
If you've suffered an injury and are seeking justice for that injury, you don't have to leave town to find a personal injury lawyer. You need to call Joe Beard with Beard & Stewart's Attorneys at Law. Hometown lawyers helping hometown folks. Give Joe a call at 601-394-5900. And remember, go Cats go!
All right, folks, welcome back to Cat Talk. Russell, what a great interview with
I know,
Calup
man,
and
that was,
Field.
that was a lot of fun, and just being around those guys, because every time I've ever been around them, both of them are kind of subdued and quiet, and I thought they did a great job of answering our questions and explaining what they were doing this past week, and both of them have a great opportunity to be able to go to college and be on the fishing team. And me and you have talked about that 100 times, about the value of kids when they're in school, whether it's band or a club of some sort, but having that extracurricular activity kind of helps you stay focused, I think. And there's a lot of opportunities in bass fishing now, and it's a huge growing industry, a lot of money in it. And like they said, it's kind of like golf. The better you get, the more expensive it gets.
Well, and as with all athletes that we bring on an interview, you could tell their passion for their sport. They really love what they're doing. I don't think most people even realize that we have a bass fishing team, but it is something that is growing around the country. As one of the boys mentioned, one hindrance to the bass fishing program is the expense, the upfront expense. So,
well, even if you don't even take into consideration the cost of the boat, that you got to pull that boat, whatever you've got.
Right.
You've got a lot of times you have to pay fees to fish in certain waters, and if you're going to drive to Decatur, you better be pulling your camper or ready to stay in a hotel room as well. And those guys are just like the rest of these boys around here. They got their fishing starts in small water, and now they go off and fish a lot different situations.
and one of the good things about bass fishing, and your major sports, basketball, baseball, football, those eventually play out for people.
Oh, sure.
But your sports like bass fishing and golf and people who learn to play an instrument. Those
Oh,
things
so
go on the rest of
sure,
your life,
sure.
and that's what I love about those.
Yeah, as a baseball guy, you still love it. You can
Right.
get out there and coach and do a few things. You can even pitch BP, third BP, and take some swings. But you can't compete at it the way
That's
you
right.
once did. Whereas, golf has senior tour and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to me to watch sports like that grow and the money that's being invested, into it. And so I'm excited for both of them. They're both great kids, and I would love to be in a boat with them just to watch them do their thing.
And man, probably the best comment I heard was Calup talked about how much their parents had sacrificed
Oh, sure.
for them to do the things they love. And we overlook that sometimes, but their parents have made a lot of sacrifices financially and time-wise for them to do that. So to hear a young man have a level enough head to say, my parents make this possible, I really appreciated that.
Well, the idea that, I might take one of my boys fishing and just watch him fish the whole time, but that just shows the love the parents have for watching their kids have a passion and joy about doing something like that. So I'm excited for them. I do want to see the sport grow. I'm not exactly sure how to help make that happen, but it's something we definitely need to discuss. And you told me something in the very beginning that I did not know, is that they do represent the high school. So, that's a good thing too. So it's nice to know that people in Decatur, Alabama now know a little bit about something.
That's right.
Something about
That's
Greene
right.
County,
Yes.
Mississippi because of those two guys.
Yeah, and we all love our community, so anytime
sure.
that we can send two great young men like that to represent us, like you said, it just shows them what we're all about.
That's
We
exactly
appreciate
right.
that.
That's exactly right. Well, let's figure out what we got going on. We got a big ball game Friday night here at home against Perry Central. You traveling for volleyball?
Thursday night,
Thursday
tomorrow night, and Saturday, I believe they're at a Gulfport tournament all day.
Gotcha. And then next week, they kind of get into the end of the season or into the region in regular season, so they got a big.
With a chance, hopefully, to win their division.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They take 3 in volleyball this year, so our playoff chances are looking really good.
Right, good deal.
Also, before we move on to that next week, we got to remember Friday night's the baseball steak dinner. So
That's exactly right.
if you have not gotten a steak dinner, please
Are
come
you still
by.
taking orders?
We're taking orders. We'll never turn down an order. We've ordered 800 steaks, and if we need to order more, we can do that as well. It's always a great time just to come in and fellowship.
I think it's one of the best things we've done out here, and not only in just the baseball program, but because you're right, it has turned into a thing. It's expected now. It's people anticipate it and want to be a part of it. And it's like we said a few weeks ago, it's almost like a church social
That's right.
event.
Yeah.
People gather up and fellowship
Yeah.
and get to eat a pretty good steak at the same time. So definitely look forward to that. What time can people start eating?
Well, first of all, you can eat in the cafeteria. That'll be from 4 to 6.
Right, okay.
4 to 6 or 4 to 6:30. I can't remember what we put on it. But we'll also have, as we had to do during COVID, the pickup line in the back.
Right.
So if you want to come through starting about 3:30 and pick your steak up and take it home and eat it, we'll have that option available.
And you'll have the guys, baseball players in the cafeteria serving tea and helping out with things like that?
That's right. They'll be in there cleaning up and making sure everybody's got what they need.
But
So
you're not allowing any tips come directly to the coach, right?
tips come directly
Gotcha.
to, let's say, the assistant coaches, because
Good deal.
they're the ones who actually do a lot of work, and we appreciate them, but
Well,
no tips.
Well, once again, it's just, there's always something exciting to talk about at the high school, and I'm so glad we got to talk about the bass fishing and things like the e-sports and different stuff like that. So, good deal. It's been fun.
Yep, it has been, so.
All right, folks, come out and watch the Wildcats this week. Support them any and every way you can, and we'll be back with another episode of Cat Talk next week.